going to ask about another subject, the state dinner last week with India. The White House has asked the Secret Service to investigate the incident, what went wrong. As part of that review, will they just be reviewing what the Secret Service did, or will they also take a look at White House staff, the Social Secretary's office, and see whether they made mistakes as well?
I will check with folks here. My understanding is that the Secret Service will look at what the Secret Service did.
But do you think the White House staff should be looked at as well? There are guests who came to this event who say that at previous dinners there was somebody from the Social Secretary's office there who was checking names. That's not really the responsibility of the Secret Service.
No, but Ed, understand that the individuals that are listed weren't on any list. I think the Secret Service, through the director, has admitted that somebody who wasn't on a list and wasn't waived in was allowed into an event that clearly he said shouldn't be, and that no call or reach out ever came to anybody in terms of staff from the Secret Service about whether or not there was confusion on a name on a list.
At previous dinners, there was somebody from the White House staff there checking names. So if they had been there and these people were not on the list, they might have caught that.
But again, I assume in absence of somebody being there, because they're working telephones in the White House, somebody would have checked. That again, I think the focus of the investigation at this point is on the fact that that name wasn't on a list, that name wasn't waived in, but that couple got into the White House, and I think that's what the Secret Service is rightly focused on in their security investigation.
Normally, in the past, before this administration comes, there was always a checks and balances type of system at that gate with the social office as well as the.
I think that's what Ed just asked.
That's what I'm saying,
Okay.
and you're saying.
It was a follow-up or you were. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Again, there's always been a series of checks and balances, and if there was a concern from the Secret Service, they would always relay it back to, it was a back and forth between the social office and the Secret Service.
What I said to Ed
let me finish, please.
No, but let me, I think the question was asked, so let me just reiterate my answer. Again, April, that none of that relay happened, right? None of that relay happened between the Secret Service and the social office, whether or not the social office was standing at the gate or whether or not somebody was sitting in their office at the White House.
Allow me to finish. You can understand what I was saying. The relay did not happen because that person was omitted at the gate from the social office. The way we understand that person,
Omitted?
That person was fired earlier in the year.
But again,
so,
April, you can ask it 7 ways. The answer continues to be, the relay didn't happen because somebody was or wasn't there. The relay didn't happen because nobody picked up the phone to relay the information. I mean, I appreciate the observation that somebody could or could not have been at a certain gate. But again, you could pick up the phone just like I can pick up my phone in the office and relay you, April. You don't have to be standing in my office for me to convey information to you.
So are you saying that the social office does not have any responsibility
April, there's
in
an
this at all?
investigation that's ongoing into the actions of what happened, and I'm going to wait for that to be completed.
The reason why we are questioning the social office and the Secret Service, because in the past, both have worked in conjunction and successfully were able to protect the President of the United States without anyone coming in. And now, because the social office did not have that other layer of checks and balances there, this happened. And people are questioning why this White House is not putting the onus some on the social office as well.
I'm going to let the investigation put the onus on where the onus should be. But what I'm simply doing is explaining to you a series of facts that include the notion that if somebody was confused about whether or not somebody was on a list at a guard tower on the exterior perimeter of the White House, and there was a question, generally somebody could pick up the phone and ask. I'm saying that the Secret Service, in the statement that they released a few days ago, acknowledged that didn't happen and that was a mistake.
The process has been changed at that gate from now on. Will the social office be working in conjunction with the Secret Service now?
I think first and foremost, we're going to go through this investigation, and I would refer you to the Secret Service about operations that might change at that gate.
Last question. People were saying that the President was never in danger, and many people have said that is not true. They got in.
Who's many people?
People here, Secret Service. These people met with the president. They shook the president's hand. Who's to say they did not have some kind of, I mean, granted they didn't, but hypothetically, what if a person had walked in and could have done something to the president?
You
The
just said the
president,
magic
do you,
I appreciate the opportunity to indulge in a grand hypothetical.
Has he remarked on this at all?
Look, I think the president shares the concern that the director has for how this happened and how we can remedy it from happening again.
Is he concerned about his safety? Is he concerned about his safety with this?
No.
Have you heard him say anything? Is he angry, or is he as incredulous as the average American is that people could just walk right into the White House like this?
I think the president, look, the reason there's an investigation is the president and the White House has asked for that to happen. So I think suffice to say, the president is rightly concerned about what happened last week.
Have you actually heard him say anything?
I have not heard it, but it's been relayed to me.
Can you confirm whether or not charges will be filed against this couple?
That is not a power bestowed on me as the press secretary. I know according to media reports, they've been interviewed by the Secret Service. I think that's a decision that would be made by the Secret Service and the United States Attorney in that area.
Robert, just to follow on April's question.
Well, April's question was followed.
Right, and so I'm a triple follow.
Okay.
The social office knows that list inside and out. Presumably, if someone from the social office had been at the gate, they would have overheard the couple.
Can you refer to me the follow-up answer that I gave to April and the follow-up answer?
No, listen
I understand,
to me.
but Cheryl.
They would have overheard the couple announce themselves and would have not, they wouldn't have required a phone call. It wouldn't have. They would have flagged it right away. Would it?
If the couple wouldn't have come, it wouldn't have required a phone call.
That's true too, but
I mean,
happened?
I understand, and generally when people have questions, Cheryl, when you have a question, April, when you have a question, I don't have to be there in person to answer your question, despite the fact that you may announce your question. Generally, you can pick up the telephone and reach me right there in my office. A procedure that somebody could do sitting at an exterior perimeter gate in the White House, just as they could sitting in the briefing room or in one of those
All I'm
offices.
saying is obviously the Secret Service didn't have questions. They didn't relay a call, but a second layer of checking.
Leaving aside the fact that that didn't happen, how did? Yeah, I think that's.
They may not have gotten
Chuck,
it.
I'm going to get.
Are you concerned, or is the White House going to do what's necessary to make sure the Secret Service is not scapegoated here, and that there could be responsibility for this at the White House?
Of course, that's why there's an investigation, Chip.
But you seem
Sure.
to be steering the blame towards the Secret Service.
No. Well, understand, I'm simply reiterating for the three questions that I got on the same subject, what the U.S. Secret Service put out on this last week. Chip, I have walked with and been next to the Secret Service for the 2.5 years, virtually every single day, that the President has had the valuable and brave protection of the United States Secret Service. Nobody is more thankful for that than the President as well as the country. The President has faith in the Secret Service, always has, and that's not about to change.
Can I
Chuck.
change the subject for a second?
We'll go to Chuck, and maybe somebody will